Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelisa and on this channel we read, discuss, and just obsess over books together. And today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. This is kind of late. I don't really have an excuse. I just haven't had time to do it. The beginning of March has kind of just gone by very quickly. So I do have 10 books that I read during the month of March that I want to talk to you guys about. But first, we're going to do storygraph statistics as always on my channel. I always just do a quick little run over of my monthly storygraph statistics. So for February, as mentioned, I read 10 books and the moods were actually mostly dark and tense, followed by emotional, and then mysterious, lighthearted, funny, and adventurous, and then reflective and challenging. So I didn't really there was a big mix, but I was surprised that dark was the biggest chunk of the pie. I read 90% fiction and 10% nonfiction, so basically one nonfiction. For genres, I read 3 dystopian, 3 young adult, 3 thriller, 3 romance, 3 contemporary, 2 mystery, and 1 memoir. I actually did ebook / audiobook 2 of these. I don't have the physical copies for them, so that is a statistic on here. And the average star rating for this month was 4.15 stars. I literally had ratings ranging from 2 stars to 5 stars, so let's get into it. I actually have them all behind me here, and I'm literally just gonna hide them all so you guys can't see them and take them off the shelf. So the first book actually that I read, I'm just gonna pull all 3 of them out. I read the last one after this next book that I'm gonna show you, but this is a series that I read. So I read the Hunger Games series. First I read the Hunger Games, and then Catching Fire, and then another book, and then I read Mockingjay. So first of all, for Hunger Games, I rated this 4.5 stars. I really, really loved this book. I loved just reading it and watching the movie again. It felt very nostalgic to me. I loved Peeta so much. He is just a book boyfriend that just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't expecting him. I quickly moved on to Catching Fire after that and also rated this 4.5 stars. Again, Peeta just kept on leaving me swooning, and then watching the movie with that and seeing how the arena was written and then how they showed it in the movie was so freaking cool, and I loved it so much. I just loved it. And then the last book, Mockingjay, actually surprised me. I rated this one 4.5 stars as well. I didn't love the movies that much compared to The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, but I loved this book a lot. I thought it was very well written. I thought it was an amazing ending to the entire trilogy, and I just appreciate these books from my childhood, reading them as an adult so much for some reason. And yeah, so I really love this. I love this trilogy. I'm obsessed with it. It's my Roman Empire kind of, so yeah. Actually, I did lie to you guys. I read 2 books between Catching Fire and Mockingjay. The first one that I read was an ebook. It was A Caller's Game by J.D. Barker. So this one I read for the book club that I'm in, and I rated this one 4.5 stars as well. I thought it was really, really good. It's a popcorn thriller. It's very fast paced. All of it takes place in the span of a few hours maybe, and it's actually quite lengthy. If it was a paperback, an average size paperback, it would be 565 pages, which is pretty lengthy for a thriller. I really did enjoy it though. It's about this girl Jordan, who she is a talk show host kind of on the radio, and she gets a call from this guy Bernie who wants to play a game with her, and it involves this cop who has his own past, and there's just it just goes very fast paced. Everything goes sinister very quickly, and it is kind of when we were talking about it in book club, we were saying that we think that there should definitely be look up trigger warnings for books always, because we could see how something like this could trigger people who might be sensitive to things like 9/11 and that type of stuff. So yeah, just trigger warnings, all that type of stuff. It was very political. There were weird things in it, but the actual feelings that I got from it and that anxiety in my chest made it a 4.5 stars. After that, I did read The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Okay, so I have a teeny tiny fishbone to pick with you, girl. This book was so good. It was so freaking good. And then you said, milk me. And I couldn't do it. I had to drop a star. And after that, I feel like it just got worse and worse. It was just the cringe just like got too much, but I really did love so much of this and thought it was so cute, and I loved it a lot more than the hating game. But yeah, that whole thing and just how like cringe it kind of got, like I actually was cringing when I was reading. I had to drop a star. I legitimately loved like 5-star 80% of the book, so I was like 4 stars. That's the rating. I love you, Ellen Armas. I'm still gonna read your other books. I'm just hoping that they don't cringe me out like that again. As I said, after that I read Mockingjay, but then after that I read The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, and this was so freaking good. I rated this book 4.25 stars. I don't really remember, to be honest, what I didn't like about it. I feel like it was missing something, and I feel like there were some moments that if I'm trying to remember, I'd have to look back at my reading vlog, to be honest. But I will say that I do remember the banter, and I do remember the entire concept of like basically these two, they make kind of like a bet about who can find true love first, and they talk a lot. So they'll go on these dates and then they'll go get tacos after, and they end up spending a lot of time together. So you're kind of like seeing them like fall in love while they're trying to go on these dates as well and be each other's like wingmen. And I thought it was really really cute and that typical like Lynn Painter feeling, but I don't remember what it was that made me drop a rating. You will find out when you see the reading vlog. How about that? Which is coming out after this video. I'm so sorry. After that, I read another thriller, Pieces of Her by Karin. Now, first of all, this is a giant book because it is large print. I didn't realize that I ordered the large print version of this book, and I literally mean like the words are giant. But I rated this book 4 stars. I did like it. I thought it was very interesting. I thought that like it did make me want to watch the Netflix series and kind of see what that's all about. I think it just wasn't as like twisty as I thought it was. Like I feel like from the beginning you kind of like you already know what's happening. Like I don't know, it wasn't very like shocking. Like it was a thriller. It was, I don't know. I think the fact that I don't really remember this book means that like that's something. I think I did like kind of find some parts of it weird, and like yeah, the way that everything kind of ended I thought was really weird, but I still think it was really good and definitely worth the read. And I did want to read this because one of the characters is in Girl Forgotten, which I have heard really good things about, so I'm glad that I read this. After that, I did audiobook something. So I audiobook Never Lie by, what's her name? Freida McFadden. She's the author of The Housemaid. And I rated that one 4.25 stars as well. I thought that one was pretty good. It was about this like, wow, it's the way I don't remember any of the books that I read this month. It was about this couple who had to stay in this house, and while they're there, the wife finds these audio tapes from when this woman was, the woman who like used to live there was a psychiatrist, and all of like the patients that she would interview, and it was very twisty. There were some twists in it that I did not see coming. So yeah, I thought it was actually a little bit too short. It was only like, I think the audiobook was only like 7 hours or something. Like it was very short for a thriller. So yeah, but I did really enjoy it. I would definitely recommend if you are looking to just like binge Freida McFadden's books. I definitely recommend Never Lie. After that was Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey, and I rated this 2 stars. I did not enjoy it, to be honest. Nothing about it was interesting to me. I actually like didn't root for them at all. I thought they had no chemistry. I thought the entire thing was like the plot, just everything was really dumb, and I didn't think that like the male main character was at all desirable. Like he was just very like rigid and like, and I'm all for neurodivergent characters, but this was just, I don't know, I felt that they were completely incompatible, and that he also like fetishized and like kind of objectified her a lot, like in his POV. So yeah, it just left a weird taste in my mouth, so I'm just not here for it. Anyway, I do love Tessa Bailey's writing, but I thought this was like completely missed for me. I don't know why, but well, I just explained why, but yeah. Anyway, the last book that I read was Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford, and this is a memoir actually about her life and like growing up as a teenager and having a father who was incarcerated, as well as a very tough relationship with her mother and growing up as a Black woman in America. So I rated this 5 stars. I feel like it's hard to rate memoirs because it is someone's life that they're writing about, and I like, who am I to be like, this story about your life is 3 stars? Like, no. First of all, the writing was amazing. I also audiobooked at the same time, and she reads it, which I think makes the experience a lot more meaningful, and I did love listening to her point of view and just also getting that interview at the end where her and an author of another book talk a lot about slavery and just like Black trauma and how all of that kind of works. And this was beautiful. It was actually very, very short. It was only 210 pages, but I feel like you get a lot in the 210 pages, and I don't want to go too much into it because I think that you should really just read it and experience it, but it was definitely worth the read and I would recommend it. That was all the books that I read in February. I thought it was a pretty good reading month. I read 10 books, and you know, one of them wasn't the best, but most of them were pretty good. I feel like I got something out of every book that I read, and I think that's the most important thing from reading, is as long as you get something out of it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you read in February. I know we're in March. It's like at the end of the first week of March, but I always love to hear what you guys read anyway. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.